Hello. So, as we can see here, this is going to be our topology for our switching and our routing aspects of the JNCIA Data Center. Okay, so it looks a little bit like a mess at the moment. I'll grant you that. We're going to fix that in just 2 moments. But firstly, let's see what we have. So we have our NAT cloud, which is connected to our management switch, which is connected to our internet gateways. So we have an internet gateway at the top for each individual device. And if we scroll down a little further, so there we go. So we have our internet device right here. Okay, now we have our spine 1 and our spine 2. We have our 3 leaf switches and we have our 3 servers. Okay, so these servers are just VCPs that are where we've just changed the actual symbol, and these are the dual nodes for the individual switches. So these are the packet forwarding engines, these are the routing engines. Okay, and the management switches are connected to each individual device so it can provide internet connectivity. All right, so first thing we need to do is clear off this screen, which is the first thing, and then we need to make this somewhat pretty. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click all of these and I'm going to lower one level, there we go, and get rid of these so the topology looks a lot better, something that we can actually work with. So lower a level and let's lower these packet forward engines because we don't need these. And as you'll notice as well, it takes away and hides the actual connections as well. So lower one level and do the same to the management switch. There we go. Sweet. Now that's a lot better. Just wanted to show you that so you could actually see how it actually looks in the actual proper whole deployment on there. But like I said, there's miles too much on screen to actually have that all being displayed. But now we can work with this absolutely fantastically. Okay, so this is our topology and we have our console access, and we're going to start configuring the host names on each of these devices first, and then once we've done that, we're going to set up the FPX or the management interface so it gets its IP address through DHCP via the switch, which we've now hidden so it's not all messy. I mean, don't get me wrong, this isn't a work of art, but it's better than it was. And then we'll start jumping onto our switching and our routing protocols. Fantastic. So let's jump onto the command line of our spine 1 and let's do root for our login. Our password is standard because this is what the standard image comes as. It's Juniper with a capital J. Sweet. Okay. Now this is something worthwhile mentioning. If you see here, it says line card or LC. This means that the device is booted up in a virtual chassis line card mode, which is something we don't actually want because you're very limited to what you can do in line card mode. Where it comes up as RE, this means that we're actually in the main routing engine. So if ever it does come up in LC mode, what you do is you just need to delete the virtual chassis configuration while you're in root from here, and then reboot the actual device and it will come back up in routing engine mode. Takes a couple of moments. So we would do cd config vchassis, and if we do an ls, you notice how we've got all these files starting with VCs. These are the virtual chassis configurations. Now sometimes you can be nice and lucky and the device will boot up into normal routing engine mode, master engine mode. Sometimes it won't. If it don't, then what you need to do, you need to remove all these files. So we'd just do a rm vc star, and if we do another ls, to see what's actually in there. Okay, so all those files have now been deleted. So what we would do then, we'd go into the CLI mode as normal, and then we would do a request system reboot, and it would just reboot the routing engine and it will come up in the normal mode. However, now that we're already in routing engine mode, we don't have to worry about that, but we may come across that on some of the other devices. After all the years of using these QFXs, images from Juniper, it seems to be completely random on how they come up. Sometimes they do line cards, sometimes they don't. But if it ever happens, do this, reboot, and jobs are good. And okay, so another strange thing about this, if we do a show interface terse, we'll see that we have our XE interfaces. So we have our 10 gig interfaces. So 0 to 11, okay, that's sweet. We have EM1, so our management interface. Yep, that's also great. We have a couple of other interfaces already here. However, if we go into the configuration, this is where things look somewhat different. So if I do show configuration, okay, so we've got our normal things, our root authentication. But don't forget, these are kind of pre-populated out of the box. You can, of course, add new users, change the root authentication, etc. if you want to. It's not a problem. So we've got our normal things. We've got our root login for our SSH. Yeah, so you can SSH into these boxes by default because it's allowed. We have our netconf, so if you want to do some network automation on them, not a problem. You've got your REST conf or your REST configuration. So if you want to use the REST Explorer, you'd put the IP address in and then you'd do your colon for the port 8080, and you'll come to the API Explorer that you can start doing your API calls if you want. However, if we scroll down a little further, now we start getting into our interfaces. Now you see we have our ET interface. Okay, that's fine. We have XE000 unit 0, which is great. But then we've got a serialized interface. So you see XE000 is serialized. So you've got .0 or .0 or colon 1, colon 2, and colon 3. So what's happened is that you've actually now got, and this happens out of the box, I don't know why they configured it this way, is they've serialized all the interfaces on the routing engine. There is something like 300 different interfaces. So if I keep scrolling down, look, we're only at 30%, 40%. Keep scrolling. Let's see how far it goes up to. So scroll up a little bit there. It gives us 71 interfaces with 4 serialized interfaces for each of them. And of course, that's something we don't want. So first thing we need to do, we need to get rid of them. So go into configuration mode. And it's going to be wildcard delete. ET interface rather. Interface. Come on, stop it. Interface ET. Okay, so 0/0/0 and then star, and that would delete all these interfaces from the configuration. This isn't going to change what's on the chassis. There's only 11 interfaces on the chassis. These are not ET interfaces anyway, but you'll see that in just a second. So it's going to delete 72 objects. So we do yes for that. Now we want to get rid of our XE interfaces from the configuration. And now you notice there's 336 interfaces configured in the configuration. That's just crazy. So we do yes for that, and it's going to delete all those. So if we do a show for show configuration, you see that we have what we had before, but the interfaces are gone. That's great. Now these are only interfaces that are gone from the configuration. On the chassis, they're obviously still there. So what we can do now, we can do a wildcard change set command, and I'll do XE 0/0/ and do the brackets 0 to 11 close brackets unit 0, and let's do a show now. And now we have our interfaces in the configuration where we can now start playing around as normal. It's a little bit of a quirk with how Juniper's built these particular images. Bit strange. Let's commit this. And as I was saying in the introduction, the data center certification is based off you already knowing the JNCIA Junos, or at least having experience to that level. So you know what commits are, how to access different parts of the configuration. That sort of stuff is not covered in any of the other JNCIA tracks other than the Junos track. Okay, so we've got our topology set up, and what we're going to do in the next video, we're going to actually start doing something. Sweet, see you then.